エレン、俺はもう終わりにしたい。なぜあがく。お前は何のために戦っている。
After almost a decade, Attack on Titan has finally come to an end, with the final season reaching its proper, undeniable conclusion. Well, part 2 of the final season at least. This chapter brings apocalyptic horror, accompanied by Studio Mappa's best animation and goosebumps-inducing voice acting, all while the themes of the show are finally brought to the forefront. Though it's unfortunate that we have to wait another year to truly see the end of this story, this season is Attack on Titan at its very best. It has been Attack on Titan's biggest accomplishment to see Eren get one of fiction's best heel turns since Walter White. After last season presented a cold, closed-off Eren, this season finally revealed his plan to annihilate every last human outside of Paradise Island. What makes his arc so satisfying is how clear the show is about it not being a sudden 180. Eren is no Daenerys. Instead, the murderous rage inside him has always been there. Much of the season was devoted to reconciling Eren's actions with the kid we knew and trying to understand what led him to activate the rumbling, with revelations that recontextualize everything we thought we knew about the show. Rather than follow him through his whole ordeal, we spend half the season without even seeing Eren, but he still casts such a large shadow that we consistently feel his presence. Attack on Titan makes the brilliant choice of distancing us from him and focusing instead on how the other characters react to Eren's actions. This season we spend more time not just with Mikasa and Armin, but with Jean and Connie too, as the characters struggle to come to terms with the people they've become. And if deepening the original characters wasn't enough, this season also gives us one of the most despicable, hateful, punchable douchebag villains in all of anime, Flock, and Gabby, a character destined to be misunderstood and debated for years to come. After being introduced as a clear parallel to Eren, then an irredeemable monster who killed a beloved character, it quickly became clear that Gabby was one of the most important players in Attack on Titan. She's also the vessel through which the show conveys its ultimate message about the cost of war and how children are the ones who suffer the most in continuing cycles of violence. This season doubles down on these themes, and even if at times they feel too in your face, it may be necessary to make sure the audience fully gets it. This show is ultimately about the way adults hang on to and obsess over old conflicts and continue to spread hatred, passing it on to children. It's what makes the tragedy of Eren Yeager so special. At the core of it, he's just a hot-headed kid thrown into an unwinnable situation and given absolute power, yet no hope for a peaceful solution. Attack on Titan has always been a dark show with horror imagery, but this season is the bleakest it's ever been. After the first part of the season stumbled a bit in the animation department, Studio Mappa delivers kinetic and thrilling action each episode in part 2. Blending computer-generated and 2D animation, as well as innovative camera work and framing, the show knows when action should be exciting and when it should be utterly terrifying. Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, suffers from a couple of oddly paced episodes, and the fact that it isn't the actual ending takes away from the impact of its finale. Still, by the time the final scene of the season finale arrives and we see the Titans obliterating Marley, while we hear Eren's speech from all the way back in Season 1 about wanting to destroy them all, it brings the story of Eren full circle. There can be no winners, no hope of a happy ending, but this season reaffirms Attack on Titan as a defining anime for the modern era. Attack on Titan reaches its darkest chapter yet with bleak, horrifying imagery, devastating emotional revelations that recontextualize the entire story so far, some of the best action scenes in the entire show, and one of the best character arcs in all of anime. For more anime reviews, check out what we thought of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and for everything else, stick with IGN.